Great to see you.
Don't be so nice to me when you're wearing a T-shirt that nobody's offered me. Where did you get this shirt at? I feel like you're the fair-haired child around here. I've been here for years. I can't get a shirt like that.
It's in the mail, Chael Sonnen. It's in the mail. It's been hard to get to a post office in the quarantine, but yeah, I'm repping UFC Fight Pass today, and so it's good to see you, man. You know, I know boredom hasn't necessarily been an emotion for me because I got kids running everywhere. But how are you holding up out there?
I am a little bit bored. I also have some maniacs running around everywhere. Yeah. We're looking for something to do. You know what we started doing? We lit a little fire in the backyard and we got into the s'mores, right? Now, s'mores is always like something that happens in childhood, but it just happened for us. John, they can't eat enough darn burnt marshmallows. Sure.
You're giving me ideas for when we're done with this little chat, but in the nature of time, let us get to it. Gilbert Burns, after 11 UFC wins, getting a first opportunity here in an event, and he gets a high-profile former champion in Tyron Woodley. I know you're excited about this matchup. Give us your opening thoughts, if you would.
Nothing has gone my way in the last 50 days, John. I can't get anything around here. I literally text Sean Shelby and said, thank you. I love this fight, but I hope that other people aside from you and I understand what's on the line here. Look, if you think that Tyron Woodley just got an easy fight, that means you don't know who Gilbert Burns is. Gilbert Burns is very quietly putting the streak together, not to mention he just knocked out Damian Maia, the former two-time #1 contender in 2 different weight classes in the very first round. That matters, but it's also relevant. You get a guy like Gilbert Burns, a medalist from the World Submission Championships. Okay, this guy knows exactly what to do on the ground. But now all of a sudden, every hook point, he's starting to figure things out here. That sounds a lot like what Tyron Woodley did. Tyron Woodley, two-time All-American Division I from Missouri, right? Then all of a sudden, he's knocking guys out. He's putting hands on people. I mean, he even won the championship over Lawler with some big strikes. So they're very similar guys. And Burns, I think, is one of these guys that's looking to get his big push here in 2020. Tyron's looking to get back to the title. John, this fight makes a ton of sense. And I have to bring this up because if Tyron gets over on Burns, Tyron deserves credit, and I don't want anybody to go, oh, well, it was Gilbert Burns. No, excuse me. Gilbert Burns is the real deal.
No doubt about it, and you put it well. And for Tyron Woodley to agree and sign on the dotted line to go to London and fight Leon Edwards, who was on an absolute tear, I thought he deserved credit for that. I know Leon is not getting the fight for one reason or another, but I think you make a lot of salient points there. So in terms, if this fight hits the ground, prevailing wisdom is that Gilbert Burns, the decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, you set up his credentials, would have a decided advantage. But Woodley's got the black belt in tow, if not on the same level. He's certainly a fight IQ guy on the ground. How do you see a grappling contest if it goes there?
Yeah, I think it would be very fun. Now, Gilbert Burns is one of these guys that will play the guard game a little bit too long. When he scrambles and gets back up to his feet, or when he does kind of like Damian Maia will do, where he's looking for reversals. He goes to the ground, but then he looks to come out of that top position. I think those would be a little bit better strategies. I don't know that I would buy into the idea that Tyron Woodley is likely to get submitted. Damian Maia wasn't close to doing it, just by example. Tyron knows what he's doing on the ground. But, John, these guys are very close in this area. Look, Tyron's going to favor position over submission. Gilbert's going to favor submission over position. But I'm not sure that I'm sold that this is going to the ground, at least not early. Gilbert Burns is very good defense, and Tyron Woodley loves to stand and bang. In many ways, when you look at these guys and you study their fight, they're the same guy. In many ways, they are the same guy.
It's such an interesting narrative. And if I was calling this fight, you'd be giving me a whole lot of ammunition, right? Because Woodley was the guy who we say, starting to fall in love with his hands. And then the results produced a championship. And Gilbert Burns, I mean, he should be in love with those hands based upon the results we've seen of late. So I'm excited to see it. Go ahead, Chael.
Well, I was just going to say, Joe, one final thing, though, on Gilbert Burns, because I feel he needs shined up just a little bit. This guy certainly, he's either won 4 or 5 in a row. This guy's done something very special, changed weight classes, but he loves to compete. This is one of those guys that he's not going to be scared walking into his first main event or walking into his first opportunity to get the 5-round club or walking in there against his first world champion. He loves, the harder the competition, the more Gilbert rises to the occasion.
Right. I think that's an important point as well. We'll see how the cardio holds up if you do hit those proverbial main event rounds. But yeah, I think Gilbert Burns is ready. Quickly on Woodley. So he's been out of action since March of 2019. That was the fight when he lost to Kamaru Usman and lost the undisputed welterweight title. But really good off the long layoffs, as I sort of outlined with Brett. Says he's in a violent headspace. Any inkling? Do you like what you're hearing out of T. Wood here as he comes back for the first time in more than a year?
Well, I can tell you it's a little more than just talk. I know Tyron quite well. Look, he's training very hard. He learned a lot from that fight. I mean, he really did. Some of those fights can really get a guy down in the dumps. They can get him depressed, or they can be a springboard. They can open your eyes and, oh, my goodness, I didn't know those were things that I need to work on. But now that I do, That's the approach that Tyron took. I mean, not only is that what he's saying, that's what his teammates are saying. That's what his coaches are saying. John, I fully believe it. I do think that Tyron Woodley is getting back on the fast track to a championship match down the road. But he's got to get through Gilbert. And I'm not positive that Gilbert Burns was ever a guy that was on his radar. You brought up the Leon Edwards. Tyron brought up the Colby Covingtons. I think that Burns kind of came out of nowhere. In many ways, that could be helpful for Burns.
Right. I agree. Yeah, not a guy that he would have historically been preparing for as a lightweight who only returned to welterweight 3 fights ago. So, yeah, dude, you're getting me excited with the energy. I hope to see you back on the road at some point soon. I mean, this can't be our normal for too long, Chael Sonnen.
When I see you, I take that shirt.
I will bring you a shirt, and maybe we won't hug, but maybe we do an elbow or a fist bump. The shirt.
You can throw it to me. You can throw it to me. It looks aerodynamic. All right, you're trying to get rid of me. You know what? I have to go. I've had it with you.
I assume. There you go. Chael Sonnen getting the final word. We got producers here that got to put all this together, but we appreciate everybody checking in. Thanks to Dana White, to Brett, to Chael just there, and thank you all, of course, for joining us today. We will see you next May 30th. It is UFC Fight Night. Woodley versus Burns. It is live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Main card at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't text and drive. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.